The identical aircraft involved in this tragedy has previously experienced issues. This aircraft was traveling from London to Hyderabad in November 2021 when a gasoline leak occurred, necessitating an emergency landing in Turkey. According to undercover interviews conducted with employees at the Boeing factory where these aircraft were manufactured, the employees themselves declined to board the aircraft.
Did you fly in one? No. You won't fly in one.
These workers said that defective parts were used in the construction of Dreamliners. Workers were under pressure not to report the infractions, and metal shavings and other trash were frequently left inside the aircraft. The wife of a quality manager was informed that he would never take a Dreamliner flight. 11 aircraft were delivered in such bad shape between 2012 and 2013 that Cynthia Kitchens, the manager of Boeing, claimed she was unable to sleep at night. Greetings, companions. Air India Flight AI-171 departed the loading dock of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport in Ahmedabad at 1:30 p.m. on June 12, 2025. The flight was delayed that day and was scheduled to depart for London at 1:10 p.m. It turned out to be a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. It had already traveled from Paris to Delhi almost 12 hours prior, and from Delhi to Ahmedabad that morning, so this wasn't its first journey of the day. Akash Vatsa, one of the passengers, noticed an oddity. The air conditioning wasn't functioning properly,
This AC is not working. Look at everyone.
and the plane's wing flaps were continuously rising and falling. He later posted a video of this on social media, stating that the remote controls and entertainment system were not functioning in addition to the air conditioner. Fortunately, at 11:16 a.m., the plane touched down safely in Ahmedabad. Around 12:20 p.m., the plane was refueled, which took 42 minutes as opposed to the customary 30 to 35 minutes. The Indian Express was informed by a DGCA official that this was typical for a flight that was completely loaded. 242 persons, including 230 passengers, 10 crew members, and 2 pilots, boarded the aircraft while it was refueling. Captain Sumit Sabharwal, who had 8,200 hours of aircraft experience, and co-pilot Clive Kunder, who had 1,100 hours, oversaw the flight. The aircraft began taxiing near the active runway at 1:31 p.m. Ahmedabad Air Traffic Services gave it the all-clear to take off at 1:34 p.m. The pre-flight tests were finished by 1:38:24 p.m. No cautions or requests for changes to the runway, thrust, or flaps were made. Clear skies, decent visibility, and temperatures within the aircraft's operating range characterized the weather. The aircraft positioned itself on runway 23. It came into flight at 1:38:44 p.m. The airport is encircled by residential areas and has only one runway according to satellite photographs. The aircraft reached 625 feet at 1:38 hours 55 seconds p.m., but it was unable to ascend any higher. The pilots reported, "Mayday, Mayday, we have no thrust," to the air traffic controller a few seconds later. Following that, communication with ATC ceased, and efforts to re-establish contact were unsuccessful. The plane started dropping altitude at 1 hours 39 hours 13 seconds p.m. It crashed into a hostel at BJ Medical College in the Meghani Nagar region, causing a fire just 34 seconds after takeoff, around 1.5 kilometers from the airport. About 35 students were eating lunch in the hostel canteen at the time. Chaos broke out when the plane abruptly crashed into the canteen. Students started jumping out of windows, some from the second and third floors, in a state of confusion and fear. Nearby residents reported hearing a loud bang that sounded like an earthquake. They rushed outdoors to find wreckage on the ground and smoke all over the place. Only one person on board, British national Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, who was seated in seat 11A close to an emergency escape, survived. Fortunately, the portion of the aircraft he was aboard landed on the ground largely undamaged. He fled via the emergency exit after spotting an open area. Everyone else was trapped since a wall barred the rest of the plane. Although the precise number of fatalities has not yet been disclosed, estimates indicate that it will surpass 270. Among the most horrifying aircraft catastrophes in recent memory is this crash. Of course, everyone wants to know why this crash occurred. Is the government, Boeing, or Air India at fault? The flight data recorder, which tracks vital information including altitude, speed, and engine performance, and the cockpit voice recorder, which records all conversations and sounds in the cockpit, have been recovered by investigators. They work together to create the aircraft's black box, which is a crucial set of tools for figuring out what went wrong. Teams from the US and the UK are supporting the probe, which is being led by the Aircraft Accident Probe Bureau of India. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, is also looking into the matter because the jet is a Boeing manufactured in the United States. Despite claims that the black box had been shipped to the United States, the authorities confirmed that the investigation's location was still up for debate. In addition to the black box, other important pieces of evidence have surfaced, such as flight radar data that describes the plane's conversations and movements. Additionally, two important films have emerged, one from airport CCTV and another taken by 17-year-old Arian from his rooftop. In the first video, the aircraft is shown taking off with its wing flaps retracted and its landing gear still extended, both of which are unusual and dangerous. Wing flaps shouldn't have been retracted because they are typically used to increase lift during takeoff and landing. According to theories, pilot error could occur when the co-pilot retracts the flaps instead of the landing gear, or when they are distracted by a loud noise and forget to retract the landing gear. According to seasoned pilots, however, the Boeing 787 Dreamliner features strong warning systems that would notify the pilots of incorrectly adjusted flaps. And since Captain Sumit Sabharwal was a very skilled pilot, such errors were unlikely. This raises the possibility of an abrupt, complete power outage. A tiny thing beneath the airplane in Arian's video seems to be a deployed RAT, Ram Air Turbine, which is a device that automatically extends into the airstream to provide emergency power for critical systems in the event that an aircraft loses all of its primary power sources. The plane wasn't high enough or fast enough in this instance, and the pilots had barely seconds to respond. The RAT uses airspeed to generate electricity. Before the disaster, Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, an eyewitness, claimed to have heard a loud bang and seen lights flicker, both of which were indicative of the RAT deploying. Captain Steve Scheibner, an aviation specialist.
Now we've got a guy saying he heard a loud bang and the lights flickered. What would cause that? The deployment of the RAT.
What was the reason behind the deployment of the RAT? It typically deploys in the event of a twin-engine failure, a complete electrical failure, or a hydraulic failure. Only 7 instances of dual-engine failure, where both engines fail, have been documented in the past 70 years. However, there is evidence that suggests a potential dual-engine failure, including as the pilot's no-thrust Mayday call and their failure to lower the landing gear. What might have led to the failure of both engines? Gasoline contamination is one notion, according to which engine clogs or malfunctions are caused by contaminants in the gasoline. Fuel systems can become clogged by impurities such as water, grime, or even germs, according to aviation specialists. An alternative explanation is a complete electrical failure brought on by a problem with the variable frequency starter generators, which provide the electricity needed to start the engines and regulate thrust. Even while the engines are working, pilots may lose control of thrust if the primary and backup power systems malfunction. Defects in manufacturing may also result in mechanical problems. Boeing's Dreamliner has experienced many issues, such as battery fires and engine failures that necessitated numerous replacements. Dreamliners were grounded globally in 2013 as a result of these.
Breaking news from the FAA tonight, they are grounding the Dreamliner.
Additionally, earlier investigations showed a trend of hasty production, negligent assembly, and Boeing personnel acknowledging that they would not fly on Dreamliners themselves. Boeing experienced serious quality problems at its Charleston plant. According to Al Jazeera's investigation, Employees said they were under pressure not to report metal shavings and other rubbish that was left inside airplanes. Joseph Clayton, a technician, repeatedly discovered metal fragments beneath cockpits close to wiring and vowed never to fly on a Dreamliner again. No Dreamliner made there is safe, according to quality manager John Barnett. But Boeing isn't the only party at fault. Air India, now owned by Tata Group, has struggled with operational issues. Reports indicate pilots and crew faced fatigue due to poor rest schedules, and audits revealed fake safety records. Earlier videos by Akash Vatsa before the crash showed multiple failures inside the plane. Malfunctioning AC, entertainment systems, and unresponsive controls. Signs of poor maintenance.
AC is not working at all. And as usual, your TV screens are also not working. Neither this button for calling the cabin crew. Nothing is working. Nothing. Not even the light is working.
The last comprehensive maintenance check for the crashed plane was done 2 years ago, with engine repairs done just months before the crash. Yet, its next major check wasn't scheduled until December 2025. Investigators are now questioning both Boeing's manufacturing and Air India's maintenance practices. According to international aviation standards, the preliminary report of the crash must be provided within 30 days of the incident. Hence, it is anticipated to be released around July 12, 2025. However, history demonstrates that such large collapses typically stem from a combination of organizational, human, and technical failings. Systems malfunction, backups fail, and tragedy ensues when these things come together.